Hello everyone, and welcome to a book review for Sadie by Courtney Summers. Okay, so what is this about? So this one we're following two POVs. One is the POV of Sadie, and one is the POV of, he's a podcaster or a journalist at the very least. What is his name? I am blanking. Danny Gilchrist. So I listened to the audiobook while I read along with this. But I'll come back to that. So this one we're following the two. Sadie has a disturbing childhood. No father is in the picture. Her mother is a drug addict, and there are men that do come. These are boyfriends. These are guys that will allow her to stay addicted to alcohol and drugs and things like that. So she's not really present because she's so consumed by the drugs and alcohol. And so she doesn't have a great relationship with Sadie. And some of these men just ignore Sadie. At one point, Sadie gets a little sister. Her mother falls pregnant with one of the men that she brings home, so she does become pregnant, and so Sadie has a half-sister. And Sadie is determined to be like the mother figure that Sadie never had. And her little sister's name is Maddie. Mattie, I believe. I'm trying to double check. Anyway, so the first section, this alternates between the journalist interviewing people, doing his own research, and then it will switch the next. It's not labeled by chapters, it just switches from POVs. So you're from the journalist, Danny Gilchrist's POV, and then from Sadie's. Sadie's is a little interesting. It's talking about the present day. She is running away from home. I want to say when she runs away, she's still a teenager, like younger than 20. Like 18, 17, and I believe, if I remember right, she actually dropped out of high school. So she's working on purchasing a car. That's within the first couple of pages of her POV. She is on the hunt to find the person that murdered her little sister, Maddie. And so we're following as she's on the rail, she's hunting on the road, she's hunting this guy down. And there are certain situations that she gets in where she lies about her name because she doesn't want people to really know who she is, especially if she becomes reported as a missing person. So she doesn't want people to know who she really is. And she doesn't want word to get to this man that she is hunting down, that she is on the hunt for him. A couple of things you do find out as well. Do be aware this does contain sexual assault of a child. And it talks about how some of these child predators keep trophies, whether it's pictures or articles of clothing or whatever it is. And that is dwelled on it a lot as well. Okay, and Sadie, when she's in these certain situations, she has flashbacks to certain events that happened to her as a child and as a teenager growing up. And so she just loved Maddie with her whole heart. It was devastating when her sister was murdered, and so she's trying to, again, find the murderer. Along the way, she does figure out that there's this one person that turns out to be a pedophile. So again, it's the child molestation type aspect and things like that, and kind of blowing the lid off of things. So when we're in the perspective of Danny Gilchrist, who again is the journalist, he's just interviewing people. He's interviewing the person that raised Maddie, and other people that she's come in contact with. Like at one time she ends up at a diner and he's trying to interview the people at the diner that she came into contact with. And he's getting to know Sadie, and he gets to know the love that she has for her sister, how protective she is, how motherly she is, and determined, and things like that. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. You're following from her POV as she's going through this, hunting this guy down, and then you're following from his POV as he's trying to figure out what happened to Sadie. Okay, so this is a standalone book, and this was published in 2018. The audiobook is narrated by several people. It is a full cast. Those include Rebecca Soler, Fred Berman, Dan Bittner, Gabra Zachman, and I think a lot more people. And the audiobook on one-time speed is 8 hours and 27 minutes. This is told, when it's told in Sadie's POV, I believe it's in first person. Yes. When you're in Sadie's POV, it's in first person. When you're in Danny's POV, it's in third person. So it alternates with the type of POV that it's told in. The other thing is, in this book, Sadie has a stutter, and this is the first book that a stutter is the big prominent feature. And so it was interesting to see some of the different perspectives that Sadie would encounter when people realize that she has a stutter. Some people don't bat an eye, some people feel sorry for her, and some people are curious, and some think there's something wrong with her. So it was interesting to see those and how she reacts to those. She thinks of herself as being dangerous because she does carry a knife, so do be aware. There is, I would say, a fair amount of bloodshed in this, to the point that someone needs stitches because the wound is deep, bloody nose. So there is several talk of blood. So if reading about any blood makes you squeamish, do be aware of that. There's at least two or three instances where blood is really talked about. So, and you do have LGBT rep, and I'm not going to say who it is. And it's done in such a subtle way. The LGBT is not a big feature in this, but it's done in such a way, for example, where there's this conversation between two people. One of them says, have you ever met someone and just known that they're the right person that you're going to spend the rest of your life with? You would go to the ends of the earth to protect. And this one person says, yes, I married him. That's all you know, and that's all it expands on upon the LGBT rep. So you do have gay rep in this. Okay. All right, so that is the brief synopsis and the trigger warnings. Let me also see, were there any trigger warnings I left out? Yes. Okay, so you do have abuse. You have neglect and abandonment. Most of this is caused by the drug use. The only other abuse that's not necessarily caused by the drug use is the sexual abuse of a minor. Some of the abuse is physical as well. And you do have a suicide attempt, so please be aware of that if that's particularly bothersome. This is a heavier book, and so do proceed with caution. Okay, now let's talk about the words and the frequency that they come up in case you are still on the fence with reading this book. You have the word damn coming up 31 times. The name Jesus, 15. Shit, 40. The name God, 33. Fuck, 74. Bitch, 11. Ass, 14. Hell, 21. Breasts, 3. Grinding, 1. Piss, 1. Pussy, 1. And that one surprised me because this is tagged as a young adult, so I'm surprised that that word was in there. Although with the way that some teenagers do talk, it's also not surprising. But first YA tagged book that I've read that has actually had that I can recall. The word laid, once. Same thing comes with this word, cock, once. The name Lord, twice. Christ, twice. And prick, once. So those are the words and the counts. Please be aware, there's always a chance I could have missed one or two of those words as far as the frequency goes. So, but that's the pretty close estimate for that. So let me know. Have you read Sadie by Courtney Summers? Have you read anything else by Courtney Summers? I do know that she has other books out. Lists her books as Cracked Up to Be, Some Girls Are, Fall for Anything, This Is Not a Test, What Goes Around, Please Remain Calm, and All the Rage. I don't know if she has more or if that's just a select few. So yeah, let me know. Have you read any of those? Are you interested in Sadie or knowing the word count on this and some of the triggers? Is this a book that you're now going to avoid? Let me know. Talk to me in the comment section below. And until next time, stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book. And I'll talk to you later.